starting the recording now. So, you know, no jokes unless you want your coworkers to hear it. All right, so this is the, well, let me back up one page. When you log into your app, this is the main page. So you'll see your picture. Any inspections for the day will show up right there, as I see 1441 Little Raven Street. A couple other fun things just about this dashboard. If you see the button at the bottom that says all, there's a little cloud next to it. That will allow you to access any other inspections that aren't scheduled for today. If you have some for tomorrow or in previous days you want to pull back up, you can. You can see that there's a little import button on the one from, I guess that was a while ago, which means I just would have to import it back onto my device again. Don't mind those text notifications. Hopefully they don't come up. All right, anyways, so I'm going to go back. The button that has three little lines on the top left, that gives us our little menu. So you can go quickly to the dashboard from there. If we click that button again, new inspection, if you click new inspection, you will be able to, it'll direct you to Spectora.com on your phone. So if you have cell service or attached to Wi-Fi, it would open up a mobile browser for you, whether it's Safari or Chrome, and you could schedule an inspection theoretically from your mobile device as you're on the go. Saved inspections, all inspections, that again helps you pull up ones from the past or future inspections if you need to. Settings, I'm actually going to go into settings right now real quick to give you a rundown of what the different settings look like on our end. All right. Let's see. All right. Basically at the very top, we have the chat bubble. That just gets you a direct link to our customer support team. If you have any questions on the go about things on the app, things on the desktop, you can access them from your mobile app. This enable flashlight option just gives you the option to turn on the flashlight as you're taking pictures through the app. Pretty simple. Enable gallery camera, that's our third option here. This will give you a new camera button that allows you to take a photo while you're still in the app. It allows you to take a photo that gets stored directly on your phone. I'm going to leave that on. I'll actually show you how that functions here in a second, in case that's a good tool to use. Save frequency, another big one. If we click here, we can have the save frequency every 5 minutes, 15 minutes. I apologize. I thought I turned my phone on do not disturb, but maybe that's not working. So sorry about those text pop-ups if you see them. Anyway, save frequency, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or on demand only. Really, it's all a preference. If you're typically in areas that might have low cell coverage, we would recommend on demand only, which means when you click the save button, it will save your data from the mobile app to the website. All of your data does save on the app every time you make a change. So even if you have zero connection whatsoever, you can do an entire inspection, it saves to your mobile app, and then you can go home, connect to Wi-Fi, and save the whole thing at once. That's also an option.
Hey, David, I think one of the things that I know I was encountering with HomeGauge was we would get full-on data dumps. And I know that iPhones had a beta with HomeGauge, and there were plenty of times where you just didn't get any of your photos back. So I just want to make sure that when you're saying it's saving, every time you take a picture, it's saving, every time you enter something, it's saving, it's constantly saving that. And then what is this save specifically doing? Is it uploading it to the cloud beyond that?
Yes, yes. Every move you make in the app will save it locally to your app. And then whenever you manually, or if you have the settings set for every 5-10 minutes and so on, that will save your data from the app to the cloud, which is then where you can access that information from Spectora.com when you're logged on to a computer later, if you need to. Was that a clear answer for you?
Did I ask a question?
Yeah, sure. Brian, fire away.
So the photographs, are they saved within a special folder that's automatically generated on my phone? Or are these things just going to start piling up on in my gallery that I have to periodically delete?
Yes, good question. They will save to, they will, your phone will create a new album in your photo gallery. The album will be titled the address of the inspection and the date of the inspection. So it's very easy to navigate later if you want to. So yeah, it'll create a new album. You know, you can get them all organized there. Then of course, you know, maybe once a week or so on, you know, transfer them to your computer just to kind of keep your phone gallery cleared out. Did that answer your question?
Good enough. Yep.
Yeah, so if anything, I mean, we don't necessarily need to keep these photos because they are always going to be in the report, right? So, I mean, it's nice to have them for a couple of days, but ultimately they stay within a report and we can always refer back to the report if we need anything, right?
Correct.
Unless you're talking about pictures that maybe we don't use and we have to go back and reference.
Yeah.
Yes. So our CYA camera, let me go back. The gallery camera, we call it the CYA camera right there. That does send your photo. If you take a photo from that camera option, it sends it straight to your phone gallery. So yeah, those are ones that aren't going to be in the report. But again, you know, if you're in the attic and you want to take 10 quick photos just in case you need that photo later, that's the way to do it. So again, I think it comes down to preference. If you have, if you want to save these photos for later in case, you know, 2 months down the road, there's any sort of discrepancy, you have them. But I think that would come down to a preference at that point. All right. Oh yeah, the backup photos to gallery. This option will actually save all of your photos you take to your gallery. So even the ones that you take in the report on a specific defect comment, a copy will be made and saved to the same photo album on your gallery as well. And that's it. The other big one here is at the bottom, this auto annotate. Typically it's deficiencies only. If you want to change that, and if you want to have the ability to annotate informational photos, I'll show you that in a second. Draw arrows, circles, squares on a photo in an informational comment. You can simply change this to all photos, and that will allow you to do that too. But it just comes standard as the defects only.
Hey, David, what do you guys recommend for quality of photos? Do you want it kind of near the middle? I know that a bigger picture is going to be more data and all that, but do you guys have a suggestion or a preference there when it comes to clarity of the report and the quality of the photo?
You know what? Middle is always safe, obviously. You know, if you're using maybe like the newest Android phone that came out, obviously those photos are super HD, takes up a lot of space. You could always lower this a little bit. I've had this pretty low pretty much this whole time, and the photos do look pretty clear. I'll actually keep the quality lower, and then, you know, later on I'll kind of show you what the photos look like just so you get an idea of it. I've personally never seen any sort of issue where having a lower quality here, it makes the quality on the computer any less. So yeah, I've seen it all work the same, but I'll keep it there for now just so we can see it later.
Okay.
But yeah. Yeah, the very bottom, I mean, your app version, always good to know where to find that. You know, when we make app updates, changes, what, you know, we can see the changes that our recent updates make, things like that. Oh, reset app memory, good to know this. Once you do about 15 or so inspections, it'll give you a warning saying, you know, hey, you have about 15 inspections saved to your device. You know, we recommend clearing the device. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say device, the app. You have about 15 inspections saved to the app. We recommend clearing it to keep the app performing as it should. So you can just click reset app memory down below to clear the past, you know, 2 weeks or so of inspections just from your app. Of course, it doesn't change anything on the website. But again, that's something good to know is there. And that will, if you're in the middle of an inspection and you accidentally click reset app memory, without saving your inspection, and it'll erase it. And unfortunately, data did not go anywhere else. So just big safety tip, obviously, anytime you need to reset the memory to clear any old inspections, make sure it's after you finished your inspections, you saved them, you published them, so there's no worry of losing any data from the app that you did not save yet to the web.
All right, that's really important right there. I think we need to make sure, because we've got guys that are pushing 12 to 15 a week. That's ridiculous. So I mean, we're probably going to be having a reset once a week, like every Sunday before we get going again.
Sure, yeah. That's definitely a good routine to get into, and we see a bunch of guys doing that too. All right, I will go back to the dashboard. Let's jump into this inspection for today. So this little Raven Street inspection in front of me. I tap it, and what I'm looking at is my cover photo. This is my beautiful 8,000 square foot apartment that I don't live in, that just using the photo. So cover photo there. So you can take, when you tap on the cover photo on the app, it'll allow you to take a photo where you are, or pull in a photo from your library. So you can take a photo of the house for the cover photo if you wanted to. This little warning just tells me it's 30 minutes before my inspection. So we just built that in case someone accidentally goes into like their afternoon inspection, but they're supposed to be in their morning inspection. Gives them a warning, hey, double check, make sure you're in the right one, just to be safe. That's the only reason for that being there, but that's not going to stop me from doing any other reporting. As I'm scrolling down, I see my date, my time, I see my price there. That was already scheduled. So I see my map. If I click the map, it'll allow me to pull up Apple or Uber to actually get a ride or get some directions. So that's kind of fun there. I see to the right my client and my agent. So these are just two quick ways if you need to get in touch with the client or the agent. If I tap client, it'll pull up their email. I only have an email for this fake client, but it'll allow me to tap there and send them an email. If I tap agent, it'll pull up my fake phone number and my fake agent email as well. So if I ever need to call my agent quickly, that's just an easy way to do it.
So this might actually be a really good reference for us, you guys, to get to the client and the agent phone numbers without having to go to ISN or ISN mobile or work orders or anything like that. Much quicker, much faster, I'm sure, accessible.
David, back to maps.
Yes.
So I noticed there's a Waze offering now too, right?
I'm sorry?
There is a Waze offering too. I noticed it on the, it didn't used to be there, but it was on the software that I had.
I'm sure there's a couple of different options, whether it's Google Maps or, your Apple Maps and Waze, and hopefully there's
maybe it's only if it recognizes it on the phone, but Waze was an option. I had Waze, so
Okay.
I'm just making that remark.
No, that's interesting. Thanks for sharing that. That might be the case. I think what Jason said, if you have Waze downloaded on your phone, it might then give you this option. I've actually never tried that.
Yeah.
I don't have Waze downloaded, but let's let me look into that a little more to be safe, and I'll circle back just to let you know. That could certainly be the case. Looking at these two orange boxes in the middle, payment required and agreements required. This just shows me that the client didn't pay me yet or sign their agreement. However, now that I just remembered you guys are using ISN, that probably won't be there since you won't be using the ISN, or I'm sorry, you won't be using Spectora's payment or agreements. So that might actually not be there. So we can probably disregard that. And back down to the bottom, there's residential summary. That's just going to take me into my report. I'm sorry, residential report. The summary button will allow me to look at a summary version of my report, which is just going to be all my defects. And then we have my save and sync buttons at the bottom. Save, there's a little arrow pointing up. That will save all my data straight from my app up to the cloud. Sync, there's a little button pointing down. That will actually be a two-way save. That will actually save any new information from my phone up to the cloud. But if it sees any new information on the cloud, it will actually pull that information down to my app. So an example of that is maybe you go into this inspection on your phone and you realize you have the wrong template. Well, if someone maybe someone in the office on the admin side switches the templates for you, you click sync, that will now pull down the new template for you. And then the very bottom right, publish, that will say publish to IS.
David, I have a question.
Yes.
Because I was a sole proprietor before, I'm not familiar with admin. I was the admin. So the question is, every time we make a change on if I make a commentary change locally on my phone and I sync, does it sync to the cloud?
Yes, that will send your data.
Does it change the template company-wide?
Nope, it won't change the template.
Just changes the template for me only.
Yes, it'll change the report for you. Actually, I can show you an example of that in a little more detail. So I'll definitely, let me touch upon that.
All right.
Actually, yeah, so I'll click into residential report, pulls up my blank report. This is from my template that I had set up on this inspection. I have my inspection details section, roof, exterior, basement, and so on. If I click into inspection details, it will pull me into my item list. I only have one item that's labeled general in this section. If I click general, it brings me to my comments. The green comments at the top, those are my informational comments. So, and again, all customizable. So I can say who was in attendance, the client's agent. Every comment gives you some options as we see those 8 boxes in the middle: flag, location, copy, delete. Second row is photos, video, gallery. So for example,
this is HomeGage's version of styles and materials, guys. Informational.
Cool. Great reference. Thanks. That's probably a big help. Yeah, if it's furnished, utilities on, off, again, all these multiple choices are customizable. Type of home, bingo. Again, all these comments have a photo. So if I want to take a photo of the home to show it's a modern home, perfect. Temperature, this is a number comment. So I just click the line. 57 degrees, done. Moving on, type of building, again, any of these that you want to.
Hey, can I interrupt you a minute? I want to ask Jason a question. So Jason, when we roll this out, all this information here, a lot of this is, or some of it comes from ISN, the office loads up, occupied, vacant, square footage, condominium, things like that. So, how does this integrate with ISN that, now, I mean, we have ISN, it's on, it's integrated with HomeGage. We just click on it and, we start working, and some of the information's already there. How is that going to be the case with this app?
Some of it, yeah. So if anything, David, if you go back to that first page or the beginning where the report is, back one more, yep, right in here, they'll have the client information, it's built in 2015, the square footage is 8,450, and probably what type of, and you can correct me, David, what type of building that it is. The styles and materials, forgive me, that Spectora has down there, that is specific to that particular template, right? So we will be, our template's gonna look more like the one that we're used to, right? So the inspection details, the styles and materials that are on there, those identifiers, we do still have to enter in whether it's, who's in attendance, right?
Right.
ISN doesn't do that part. And then, but we don't necessarily write up that it's occupied or vacant. So that wouldn't be an item that would be something that we would select. So this is just more of an example concept that we can do more of these styles and materials, this informational type of stuff in his template. But not necessarily something that we'll have 100% in ours. We're going to go over our template also, the one that we're kind of cleaning up and making a little bit better. But this stage right now is just to get an idea or really a feel for how the program works on the app on the phone itself, and then we'll push on from there.
Okay.
All right. All right. Yeah. So just like Jason said, all the informational comments customizable. If you don't want to have to put in the weather, you can get rid of that in your template, all that kind of stuff. Limitations, the limitation comments. Basically, if you need to state any reason why you didn't inspect something, you know, the roof was covered in snow, that's, I list that as my limitation. Obviously, this being a general inspection details item, there's not really limitations or deficiencies needing to be put in this item. So if I hit the back arrow, I'm all done with my inspection details. So let's go to roof. This will give us a better understanding. Full list of items, roof coverings. I guess I have 2 of those. Flashing, plumbing, gutters, and so on. Again, you can have as many as you want there. You can name them whatever you want to. One of the good things to know is what I have set up in this template is something called item ratings, which means I will rate each item, whether it was inspected, if it was not inspected, not present, or if there was a recommendation or a deficiency or a finding. So that's kind of, you can change that verbiage for that as well. That is a setting. If you don't like those item ratings, you can get rid of them. I'm going to click that I found a recommendation just to give the example. I will click that arrow. Now I'm looking at my roof coverings item. So my first informational comment, homeowner's responsibility. I think this was from an InterNACHI template. Just a general comment with information. But then I go down to my materials. Again, how I inspected it, drone, that sounds super fun. And then this is a good example of my limitations. Maybe I couldn't inspect the entire roof because there was snow, leaves, a tree, and so on. So that gives you a quick one check. Well, I couldn't walk on the roof, couldn't see A, B, or C. Allows you to check those comments. Down, and now we see our observation comments, again, that you can call them findings or defects, whatever you want to call them. These are all pre-made, so this is just my own mini library of comments. You could have 5, 10, 15, really adding as much as you want to. So whenever I find the defect that applies, check the circle. It opens up a little bit to give me a few options. That very first orange box you see is my category. You can set up to 3 categories. There's blue, orange, and red. So I'm just tapping the box and that's cycling through which category I want. Maybe this is a severe category. I'll click my red category and you see it's labeled as safety hazard right under where it says cracked roof, which is also a setting. You can name the 3 defect categories, whatever you would like. You can flag a comment if you want to remind yourself to revisit it later. That doesn't show up on the client side, so you can flag a bunch of comments, and if you don't unflag them, no one's going to know but you. Location tag is our 3rd box in there. You can tap that box and pull up pre-made location tags. If I want to say it was on my 1st floor kitchen, again, this is just a rough example that I use for my demo. So this, hopefully you get the idea of any sort of tags, whether it's direction around the home, what floor it's on, and so on, quick tags. But at the end of the day, you can also just write your own up and say that you found it on the roof. Oh, I'll spell that correctly. There we go. Pretty simple if you want to use that feature. And then you see where it says roof right under where it says that red safety hazard label. As far as photos go, we do have 2 photo options. One is a standard single shot. Take the photo, annotate the photo, hit save. Take another photo, annotate the photo, hit save. We have another option where you have a multi-shot camera, which is what I activated. You can see there's a little apostrophe S next to where it says photo on that bottom left box. So if I click that, it's going to pull up my my photos. I need to allow it to use my rotation. This is the corner of my studio. Don't mind it. Not fancy. I took the photo. Let's try that again. All right. I must have forgotten to turn on the annotation thing. Just give me 1 second. Make sure I didn't accidentally turn that off. Annotations. Oh, that is on. All right, let me try that again. Sorry about that. Let me go back into there.
This is good practice to remember to go back to settings anyway. So we're going to be going through plenty of this ourselves.
Gotcha. So, oh, I was clicking the wrong button. Sorry, I was clicking the green button. So the middle button that you're actually supposed to click, that takes a photo. There we go. One photo. Now you can see under that green circle on the bottom right, it shows there's one photo there. I can take a second, I can take a third, and you can just see that number kind of racking up. So let's say you need quick 5 photos of somewhere, you can take it, then you hit the green circle, and that brings you back to, once it loads, again, it's a little slower since I'm sharing my phone through Zoom to you guys. It's not as fast as it should be. Now it brings me to my annotation screen. So the photos I took of the corner here, I can draw my finger down the screen. It'll annotate. It'll automatically, the color of the arrows, or if I change it over to square, I can click all those little symbols in the bottom line. There's a circle, another arrow pointing to it. The color of the annotations will default to the color that is associated with the defect category. So if it's a low-level defect, which is blue, it'll automatically give you blue annotations. But again, you can change those on the right side. You have those different squares of colors. You can change them if you wanted to. But annotate, okay, hit that check circle on the bottom right. Brings me to my next photo. If I want to draw another annotation, done. Over to the jacket, done. You can do this with all your photos. You can just click the circle and just skip over the rest of the annotations, or there's a way to also bypass all of the annotations. If you take 10 photos and just don't want to annotate them at all, there's a way to bypass those too. So a lot of ways to make sure you're not having to waste any time. Then you can see where there's a green little circle in the top right, says I have 5 photos there. If I want to go one layer deeper into this comment, I will click that arrow right next to where it says cracked roof covering materials. Click the arrow. Now it brings me into the deepest layer of my comment, where I see my full comment name, I see my location, I see my defect category. I can still change it again if I wanted to. If I scroll down, I see my verbiage. I can tap in there and change it if I wanted to. Scroll down a little more. Here's where we see an option where you can save changes to your template. Brian, maybe Kurt, I think one of you mentioned this before. If you want to, if you make a change and you say this is good, I like this, click save as default template name, text, recommendation category. So now that will save your changes. Of course, if you don't.
So now just it was me. So just to clarify, that's changing my template only, and it is cloud-based, correct? It will sync, and I'll have it forever until I change it again, correct?
Yes, that changes the template you are using. So that kind of goes back to how you guys set up your templates. You know, if you have one main template that 10 guys use, obviously it'll change that template, so all 10 guys will have the same changes.
You guys won't have the option to change the template. You'll have the option to change that particular statement for that particular time, but not the template.
Okay, that clears it up then. no options to change anything on the template. So maybe that keeps everybody safe. Then I can look at my photos I just went through. Of course, if I don't want one, I can just click the red X and delete it. Again, those are some of the kind of the last things. If you need to make further edits, you can. But again, go through your defect comments. You see another one. I'll show you the video, which is going to be that second box on the bottom row of those icons. If I click the video, yes, use my microphone if I want to speak in my video. And then I can just take a video of, there's our nice fancy backdrop. We take that to our conferences. Maybe some of you have seen it before. Anyways, quick 5-10 second video. as long as it's under, I'll click use video, as long as it's under, I believe 50 megabytes, it will allow that. That's the cutoff for a per video basis.
How long is 50 megabytes? I mean, is that 5 seconds?
I think that more so depends on if you pull in videos or photos from your gallery. Now, I'll explain that here right now. These last two buttons on those two rows there, on the bottom right, there's one that says gallery and there's a picture of a photo. The next one says gallery and there's like a video reel. So those will pull from your phone gallery. So if you took a picture previously, you want to pull it from your gallery and place it onto your defect comment here, you can do that. Click the gallery for the photo and you can pull a comment. Same with video. That's where it really comes into play. If you have a phone that takes crazy HD video, if you take a 5-second video from your phone's camera, it might have a lot more data involved than if you take a 5-second video through the Spectora app. Hopefully that wasn't confusing. That being said, we've seen 10, 15-second videos super easy. Again, could be up closer to 20. I think, at the end of the day, it is a lot more data than photos are, so it naturally just takes more time to save a video than a photo. But
hey, Dave, excuse me, David.
Yes.
Hey, this is Lou. So with the video gallery side, like say if we're using a drone and it saves that image to the phone, then we can pull that drone video or photos and put them in this location, correct? We don't have to download to another device or bring other things in. Is that correct? If I'm using a drone that downloads that image or video to my phone's gallery.
Yes, as far as photos, haven't seen a problem with that. Videos, again, if you're taking like a 1-minute video on your drone, you might not be able to pull that in from the gallery onto the app. I think I'm not super familiar with drones and that kind of capability. Something to test. I would definitely recommend saying, hey, when you download the app, just test that thing out. It might work perfectly for you, or it might say, worst case scenario, the video is too large. As far as photos go, you should be able to pull those photos in as soon as they make their way to your phone.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. Again, I think testing both will be great. I personally haven't tested that myself, but I also know it's new-ish, I guess, to the industry, people using drones. At least from my perspective, I could be wrong, but I think it's definitely something to test out. Like I said, it could work flawlessly. It might say, hey, the video is too big, at which that point, obviously, we can, brainstorm and see what a good process is, but should work for you. Cool. All right. Oh, actually, now that we're here, when I was talking about the CYA photos in our settings, what was called the gallery camera, the bottom right of my screen, there's two squares. One is a forward arrow pointing to the right. The other one is an actual little camera button. So that's our gallery camera. If I want to take a photo, not attached to any comment, but if I want to save it in my photo gallery, if I want to use it later, click that bottom right photo button, pulls up your same camera. You take a picture, you click use photo, and that's it. It didn't attach itself to the report. It sent itself to your phone gallery. You'll see that icon a few places too. If I back out of this item, if I'm looking at my entire item list, I still see my gallery camera button on the bottom right. So I don't even have to be in any of these items. If I know I want to take a quick gallery photo, boom, use photo, and then I can move on into a new section. All right. Let's talk about adding comments. Adding comments on the fly. Maybe, Jason, maybe you want to chime in here if we discussed this before and just about the functionality of saving to templates or what will be allowed. You can add comments on the fly. For example, most common we see defects. So you can click add new defect where it says plus new on the red bar. For any reason, there's something crazy new that you find broken. Just make sure you can type better than I can type. Broken broken thing. Here we are. I'll call this broken thing. I can add my description of the defect comment. You can also use the dictation feature, which is not a Spectora feature, it's a phone feature. So if your phone has the microphone dictation thing where you can talk to text and all that, you can also use that too when you're creating new comments on your phone like this. So you can do that. Let's click done. Let's click save comment. So I just created a new comment on the fly. That will, again, save to the report, just like any other comment. Sounds like from what Jason was saying earlier, when the ability to save this to a template won't be there, but you can use this to save the comment on the fly.
I think, if anything, this is something that we're all going to still need to do, because the amount of drop downs that we have may only cover 70–80%. So there's always going to be a need for a new observation that you guys can create. And I'm curious to see how well the microphone actually receives our speaking ability and how we are able to enunciate and how it receives the information. I guess that's just per phone that's going to happen, but we're always going to be needing to add new observations, I'm sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a phone specific thing. So again, if anyone is used to doing the talk to text, obviously I'm sure we've all seen it, that it's not perfect, but whatever the normal capability of your phone is to transcribe what you are saying, that will show up for you. All right, it's back out of there. Oh, actually, one cool thing here. Well, two cool things. You see where my roof covering item name has turned green? That is because I had completed all of my informational comments in that item. So if I click let's say I click flashing, for example, once I have, see, all my informational comments are already filled out. One thing here, obviously, I didn't do anything in this item. There's an option on the template to have comments checked on as their default. So clearly in my template, I had these two informational comments checked to be turned on as my default. So I didn't even have to do that. Again, that's case by case basis for that. But all of those informational comments are filled out. My flashing item turned green. If I go into plumbing vents, again, same thing. Nothing else there to fill out. I go back out, it turns green. So as long as all of the informational comments are filled out, then it'll turn green, notifying you that it was complete. And then at the end of the day, once all of your informational comments are filled out, this is the best example, filling out all of my multiple choice. Those are done. All of my items have turned green. I go back to my section list. Now my roof section turned green. All right. Yeah, that's a lot of the basics. Any questions that come up, we can just open it up. Whoever wants to shout out. Any questions? Anything that did not make sense, I'm happy to explain again, because that happens sometimes.
What's the best way to review with the client with this?
Yeah, good question. All right, let's go back. I'm gonna hit my back arrow to my main inspection details page, as we call this. We have that summary button right above where it says save and sync. If I click summary, I can now pull up my defects that I've selected. So there was a handful here. The one example I gave with all the photos, cracked roof, I can click that photo. It pulls up all my photos I took, my annotations. Sorry about that text again. Yeah, so you can go through that on your phone with the client. Just tap again and it shrinks down. So pretty easy there. I didn't take any photos down there, but that's just one way to do it. And then with videos take longer to render, so this probably won't give me the chance to watch it yet since I just took it 5 minutes ago. Yep, it's almost finished. Anyways, you can watch the videos there too. So that's the best way to do it. Those icons on the top right, you see a 3 and a 2. you can click there and shrink it down to all of your observations. Well, that's what it starts out as, all of your observations. You can shrink down to moderate and safety hazard or just safety hazard. That's my red level. Defects, again, the term safety hazard can be changed if you guys call it, severe defects or anything like that. That can also be changed. But just easy ways to kind of organize it to, review with the client on site, review with the agent, whatever you need to do.
Do we actually get to see the report? Is there, once it's saved, does it go to a PDF and we can review it that way?
Yes, so I will click save here. It'll take a little bit. It won't take, it shouldn't take too long. The photos might take longer again because my phone is connected through Zoom. Once it saves, I can actually pull up my Spectora.com account and show you guys what it looks like on the report side now. Okay, there we go. That wasn't too bad. So I can definitely do that. Before I leave the app, I just want to make sure if we don't have any other lingering questions just about the app functionality.
I have another question, but it's really just if there was a recommendation for a specific type of phone that would be more conducive to using this software.
You said a type of phone?
Yeah, if there was a particular one or anything like that.
Gotcha. No, really good question. We either Android or Apple phones work, so whatever the preference is. The minimum requirement for RAM is going to be 3 gigabytes of RAM. So if you have, I think iPhone 7s and older have 2 gigabytes of RAM. I'm kind of trying to remember off the top of my head. Some iPads that are maybe 2 years old might only have 2 gigabytes of RAM versus 3 or 4 that a lot of the newer ones have. I think a lot of Android phones are pretty safe with like 4 or 6 gigabytes of RAM. That's just pretty more, I guess, easy way to describe it is the processing power it has, so it can handle using the app. So for example, if your phone has 2 gigabytes of RAM, it might or might not slow down or crash on you. If you have like 5 different apps open and then try to open Spectora with a phone that has 2 gigabytes of RAM, it probably will crash. Obviously, the more gigabytes of RAM, the more apps it can handle at one time. So that's, hopefully that made some sense. Quick rundown of that. But yeah, 3 gigabytes of RAM or more, that should be the first thing you guys should look at. And if it has that, then the rest is really just a preference. All right, I can jump into the website real quick now. Any other thoughts, any other questions before I get out of the app? Just feel free to shout at me.
Did you already go over sync versus save?
Yes, briefly. I can do it again. Takes a second.
No, that's all right. I don't want to waste time.
Okay, sounds good to me. All right, let me pull up my website. I'll give you a quick rundown of that, show you what we're looking at. Stop
David,
this.
Jason, Brian was talking about viewing the report as a full.
Yeah, that's what we're getting to. We're getting to his desktop.
You can do that. You can do that from the app.
Sounds like he's going to the website and not the app. But the question is, what happens if you review your report and you see a mistake? Can you go back and amend it and then resync it?
Yeah, yes, you can do that. Which brings me to something I can't explain in more detail here. So yeah, what we're looking at is the inspection details page on the website now. And I'll keep this really quick, but again, if any questions come up, let me know. So I'm looking at the inspection details page, my cover photo, a little map here of where it's located.
David, can you go back to, like, what is the first thing that they see when they're looking at, is it the dashboard? Is that the first thing that they're looking at?
Do you mean the inspectors or the clients?
The inspectors.
Yes, so the first thing they will see is going to be the mobile app dashboard. Unless any of the inspectors will be doing any work on their on Spectora.com. Again, you know, we could probably talk way more about this. It would really depend on just kind of how you guys run business, right? Some companies have office admin that do all of the computer work, everything, you know, behind the scenes, and their inspectors do nothing but, you know, use the app and then they finish the report and they're done. Obviously, some other inspectors do some more admin work as well. So the two sides of the coin are the mobile app and the Spectora.com, which is what I'm looking at here right now.
David, I don't want to step on your toes, buddy, but if you go back to the app, you can look at what Brian was asking about, was looking at the report in full without going through the website.
Well, he showed the defects, the observations.
That'll show everything.
The summary.
It'll show everything.
Yeah, the summary was, and I can pull that up again. The summary was what I was showing. It doesn't show the informational comments. The summary only will show you the defect comments.
It doesn't literally show you the report, basically. It shows you the bits and pieces and you envision how it is put together. I'm just trying to, you know, correlate that with what the reality is when the client opens up the report. And so often I'll go through my report and I'll see, oh, I like my pictures arranged a little differently. You know, I take a close-up shot of the defect, then I take one back away so it puts it in its context and perspective. And so sometimes, you know, you take the far away one first, and in HomeGauge, you can just, you know, move it to the front or move it to the back or move it up one or back. So, you know, so I don't necessarily know if I have that ability within the app.
Yes, this is drag and drop. This has drag and drop technology. You don't have to, it's much quicker.
And
All you have to do is drag the picture where you want it.
And Lou's right. You guys can go to your app and go to more options, and you can view the full report. It's probably, I think, via the website that shows the whole thing.
Okay.
Is that what you meant, Lou?
Yeah, you can see the report on
Yes.
the app.
Yeah, it does pull it up on the web, but it pulls it up where you can see it. And if you go up to the top, you have the option to actually look at it as a PDF, which would be the full report.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Do you want me to go back into the app, or was that a nice way to clear everything up?
That's up to you guys, not me. What do you guys want to do?
Well, he mentioned when he was explaining a little bit of this, he said something like, well, some of the inspectors, you know, will do everything on site, and some inspectors will go home and do it. Did I hear that there was an option to actually do it on a laptop via Spectora.com?
Yes. And I think I'm sharing my screen now. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we see it.
Okay. So yeah, so this is Spectora.com. So I just saved my report from my phone, and when I log into Spectora.com, let me actually go back. I'll give you one quicker view, and I won't harp on this at all. Really, this is pretty much my dashboard on Spectora.com. I can see my today box. It shows me my little Raven Street inspection that I just did. There's a bunch of other stuff on the dashboard too. I won't go into that. I can click right into my inspection. I can now open up the inspection details page on my computer. So same cover photo we saw before. Don't mind this orange box. That's take no mind to that. I can see again my information here, my client, my agent, who scheduled the inspection, if it was scheduled internally. So again, same information we saw on the website. I'm sorry, on the mobile app. Price. Well, again, ISN, you guys won't see this, so don't mind that either. Long story short, we have my reports box. I have two options, edit and view. If I click let's say click edit, for example, I will see a layout that is, similar to what we just looked at. My list of sections on the left, roof, exterior, basement, electrical, and so on. All my items will be in the middle, and all my comments on the right. So for my inspection details, my in attendance, occupancy, style, temperature that I just did, you can change it all here too, of course. Check different boxes. I'm going to click my roof. That will give us examples of what I did before. Informational comments. This one that was automatically populated for me. My checkbox comments there. Now I'm looking at my observation that I checked on the app. I can see that it's my red category again. If I wanted to change it, I can change it. If I wanted to change my location, I can change that too. If I want to, and here's that where I just wrote change to kind of show you that before. So again, you can make more edits on the website. Scroll down. Now I'm looking at my photos. I can drag these in different orders from here if I wanted to. I can add more specific captions to each photo if I wanted to. It brings us up to a similar, well, the same exact location tag, but below I can add a caption. Now there's a caption.
Can you edit the arrows and circles?
Yep, clicking on the picture, it brings me up to here. I can move it around. There's a trash can button, boom, trash can, delete it. And same options here. I can drag and drop more, or yeah, click and drag, arrow, insert a square, circle, same stuff. Click save, and now it's different. Whoops. Anyways, cool. So you can do that there. Add photos manually. You click this add photo button. It pulls up, your folder of whether it's pulling photos in from your desktop or from maybe you take a bunch of pictures on a drone. You end up syncing that to your laptop. You can now find those, add them manually with this add photo or video button. Then we have a preview button up top here. You can click this. You can also get to this preview from the inspection page as well. This is the web report, pretty much what a client will see from the web report. A couple things you can change, of course. Obviously, cover photo, you can take a new photo. Your photo will pop up here. You can choose to have an agent co-branded on your reports or not. That's a setting. You can choose to have these bubbles, so you can have how many total items were inspected. You can have your category count bubbles, as we call it. So this just gives them a quick glance. Okay, there's 3 defects that were in my moderate category, 2 defects that were in my safety hazard category. If you don't like them, that's a setting in your templates. Then we're looking at inspection details, my in attendance, occupancy, style, all of these things that I already filled out before. Looking at my first real section, roof. So the overview grid, that is also a setting. If you guys decide yes to grid or no to grid, you can get rid of that. It shows you what you checked for, what was, where you found a defect, where something was inspected, not present, things like that. Informational tab, it has my informational comments. Again, these were the ones that were kind of pre-loaded for me. I didn't add those on. And now it gave me my my multiple choice, for covering, things like that. Again, all the verbiage here is all customizable, which will show in the informational comments. If you set a limitation for that section, the limitation tab pops up, says what my limitations were, and then standards. Standards tab is a setting. If you don't want a standards tab here, that's an option for you. You can then obviously just have your standards, all part of the roof section. Below all the informational issues here, I shouldn't say issues, informational comments, we now have my covering defects. So my first was roof covering. I can click into it. That's about it. I can click this plus one more. It actually pulls up all. If there's more than 3, it'll pull them all up like this. You can click into them. Again, I put my setting as a pretty low quality, and to me, this is a good quality photo, but just a good way to see it. My video that I took before, you can blow up the video so it's full screen. Oh, there's some sound to it. Maybe not.
I think this is going to look really attractive for our clients and agents. It's going to be pretty.
Yeah, no, that's awesome to hear, man. I think we've always heard great things, and you know that's kind of what that's the main goal, you know, moving it to the future. Anyways, we do have these recommended, you know, we just call them our recommendations actually. So then again, I don't know, Jason, if you looked into that before or not, but you can choose to have certain recommendations as to, you know, contacting a roofer or a chimney this, or, you know, anything like that. That's just an option. If you guys don't like it, it's also a setting. You can make sure these don't show up either. All interactive, of course, clicking through each section on the left, you can pop through pretty quickly. On the website, whoops, too high. We have a summary button. Again, same thing, it shrinks down to only my defects. Still in the same order, roof covering, roof and exterior. If I want to take it one step lower, we do have the next box actually shrinks it down to only what your 3rd tier defect is. So if you want to just, if an agent says, you know, I don't care what's kind of broken, I want to see what's really broken, they can click that button, shrinks it down to whatever your 3rd tier of defect categories are. And then if we click our PDF button on the right side, we can do a summary of the PDF, full PDF. Let's do full PDF. Company logo, inspector info, you know, actually let me zoom out a little bit. Cover photo, you know, name of your report, all the fun stuff. Agent information will be here. Table of contents, again, interactive. I click exterior, pops me straight down to my exterior section, informational comments, observation comments. Actually, let me show you the ones with the photos. Photos will show up. Oh, that didn't show up. I don't know why that happened. I'll make sure I can figure that out. Anyways, all the photos coming in looking like this on the PDF as well. And you can do some other like cosmetic settings that we have in the PDF, such as you can show this summary up top, which again, an agent or a client can click. All right, let's see what this exterior siding issue is. It drops them straight down to their comments here. You can choose to get rid of like the table of contents at the top, all that kind of just small things if you like or don't like. Again, your bubbles if you like them or not, that's a setting.
That'll all be driven by the template, right, Jason?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's all template
Yes,
settings.
absolutely.
Let's see. Oh yeah, SOPs are all at the bottom too, no matter what. If you take the SOPs off of the web report, they will show up on the bottom of the PDF report, no matter what.
So
All
at
right.
what point does the inspector, after finishing his report, hand this off to the clients? I mean, as it is now, we upload it to ISN and it's got an automated email that goes out with a link. I see.
Oh, good question. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, so let me go back to my inspection details page. Basically oh yeah, and then from here, there's this view button that gets you straight to the report as well. Basically, when you click publish, yours will say publish to ISN specifically. If it doesn't say publish to ISN, that means someone scheduled in Spectora and there was a mistake. It'll say publish to ISN. If it came from ISN, it will go back to ISN. That will shoot back up to ISN. I'm going to click publish on my end just because, and again, you won't see these emails just because ISN does that for you. So just don't mind that. But I'm going to publish this one. It gives me a little timestamp of when I published it. If I make changes after publishing, you don't need to republish. Since it's a web report, it's alive, it's alive. Anything you make changes here will automatically update on whoever's side has access to the report. And by that, I'm going to close at the very top. There's this client view button. If I click client view, it gives me a little idea of what the client will see. Again, on your end, the client won't see the agreements. The client won't see the payments. Pretty much what the client will see is a little box that says, click here to view your report. So it does direct them to the client portal. Again, they see their cover photo, their address, their inspector, kind of a nice little hub. Their map, they forgot where they lived. Their nice little hub of Spectora. They'll say, click here. They'll see where it says, click here to view your report. That directs them straight to web report, which is bingo right here. So kind of going back to what I heard a question before. Even after you publish, the way the integration works is the Spectora, the link to their client portal would be attached into the publishing email from ISN. So they get pretty much a link to their Spectora portal. So again, since it's all a live website, live report, I can go in here, make changes to something if I needed to. Again, you can tell the client, hey, I changed that thing, go check it out, or you don't have to tell the client if you don't want to. Any changes I make here automatically will save and automatically will reflect on the client's end as well.
That's huge.
All right, that's my rant. That's my rant for today. Hopefully that was good. And again, Jason, I'll send you the link. It'll take a little bit to get the link processed for this recording, so you can send it to any of the other guys. I got a couple more minutes, but before I have to split out of here, do you guys have any other last minute questions? Anything else I can go over quickly as this kind of phase one of how we think this all looks?
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Hello?
I got you.
Hey, yes, I'm just wondering if you have the your laptop running, say in the kitchen, and you have your portable app open at the same time, and you hit sync from your phone, will it update your laptop interface automatically?
Yes.
That's one question.
Yep. It will go through the saving process. Again, if you have 100 photos, it'll take a little longer than if you have 10. Once it saves from your app, it will show on Spectora.com. The only variable is having internet connection, of course. So yeah, if you're connected to Wi-Fi at home, perfect. Save from your app. It finishes saving. Pull up Spectora.com on your laptop, and then you'll see everything here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so you generally speaking, I don't think you're gonna, it's kind of like, I suspect what most guys do. They don't launch from the site. They get home at night, they sit down in their office and they edit their report, one final tweak. That's when you're going to get Wi-Fi or you're going to be connected to the internet, and that's when you're going to sync to the cloud. You won't be able to sync on site unless unless you're using your phone as a Wi-Fi scenario and all that kind of stuff. But there's really not a need for that, really, truthfully.
Yep, correct.
I think, if anything, there are always going to be guys that hold on to that. I have to have a camera and I have to do it on a laptop, and I do not want to do it on my phone or my tablet. And that's still definitely an option. Still use it on your camera and upload the photos to your computer. And you don't have to have Wi-Fi. You don't have to be online to be working on your laptop while you're doing all this. Right?
Absolutely.
Sorry, Jason, I actually want to backtrack really quick so we don't get confused.
Good.
Yes, the website, yeah, when you're working on your laptop, you do need a connection. Laptop is web-based, so it's Spectora.com. It's website. So you can, if you're in a home that has Wi-Fi, you can totally connect to Wi-Fi and do that. Which is kind of the main reason for the mobile app being what you can write the report on when you're in the field with zero connection.
Okay.
Now, if you're taking a bunch of photos and jotting notes down, whatever any other routine for inspecting a home would be, where you actually don't need a connection because you don't need a device that has a connection, you can then come home, upload the photos when you're on your Wi-Fi, and then all of your comments here. Oops, all of your comments here. Add photo here, add photo there. So kind of yes to what you said. You can take photos on an external camera, download download them onto your laptop, and then obviously put the report together at home. But internet connection is 100% required for that, as you're doing it on the laptop.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, how about this? I am curious about the titles of the comments, right? So if you say, just for example, go to roof and go to a title of an observation, and what I'm curious about, so debris in gutters or missing flashing or missing kickout flashing, is there a way to make it to where the client does not see that title and they only see the information? And the reason I ask that is, well, first of all, is that an option?
It's not, unfortunately. It's the comment is needed to have, comment needs to have a title.
Well, only because the amount of drop downs that we have, in order to keep them organized, I've kind of been specific more or geared toward the inspector than toward the client, just so they can have ease of access and quick access, hopefully. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, and we can totally look at your template later and kind of go over some more of the ins and outs of the template, definitely. Yeah, no, unfortunately, the title will show on the comment.
Okay.
So you're going to have a bunch of titles for every little specific defect, whereas it's not that way with the home gauge right now. Like debris and gutter.
Yeah. So, hey, David, do you mind if I share my screen for half a second?
Yeah, go for it. I'll shut mine down real quick. Yeah, have at it.
Just for a half a second. So this is way I have it all set up so far. At least say we're in circuit breakers and wiring, and then you go to outlets and fixtures. Right now I've got it lights, ceiling fans, switches, outlets, to really kind of try and find any of those identifiers as we're looking through them. So what I want to make sure of is that our clients are really not make sure that they're understanding what it is that we're getting out of there. Let's see if I can find something that the client may not want to see, right? Hanging loose bad or something like that. So I want to make sure that when we are being a little bit more, I guess, eloquent with our verbiage when we're showing these to the clients, I wanted to make it fast and easy enough for you guys to access, for stuff like this, but we may have to adjust this a little bit to make it a little bit easier for the client to receive. I'm not sure how much it's actually going to matter, because all of the information is going to be down up underneath and explaining the whole issue. So the title may not matter as much to the client as long as they're getting that full set. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they're going to pay that much attention to it. You know, I think short and sweet is probably the best way to go. You know, like breakers AC unit mismatch. That's too much information
For the client or for us?
for the
It's
client.
for us to look up the.
Yeah, but it's easy, yeah,
That's
it's
the big
easy
thing.
for us to find it.
Get it? I get it. I'm not arguing that, but
What this whole app is about is making life easier in a sense.
Ideally, yeah. Right.
Is there a way we
Okay,
can?
well, we'll keep playing with it a little bit and see if we can
Yeah, but
you, make it
you
a
have
little
to
bit
remember
more.
that if you, Jason, go back to electrical GFCI or outlets. Okay, so if you scroll down, outlets loose, reverse polarity, open ground, you're not going to have all those titles if there's no deficiency. So you would only have an outlet, reversed polarity, location, kitchen, garage.
Yeah.
So they're not going to see all the check marks if there's no deficiency listed there.
That's correct, but I think you were just talking about frightening them with,
Well, if
with
you do have a damaged, burned one and a weatherproof cover and an open ground, they will see those, but they're not going to see all the one. They're not going to see outlet, 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 outlet,
Yeah.
outlet, outlet, outlet.
yeah, we know that. But
Well, keep going with that thought though, Brian. I think
yeah, I mean, I know what Lou's saying, but each one is a title. It's going to say outlets, damaged, burned, and then it has the defect statement. And then the next one might be outlets, reverse polarity. So you'll see outlets. I was wondering about more of a generic, one of them that's a generic box that
you can,
has a statement in, but that we can amend, change ourselves.
Hey, Jason.
David.
Hmm?
Aren't there page separators?
Yeah, so I was going to show you something real quick. Yeah, we see this as a workaround for that. One sec. Share screen and boom. All right. We see this kind of as a workaround using
Right there.
a comment as the separator. So
Yep. That's the way to go, Jason, right there.
understood.
so then if I click, new wiring, and I mean, some people just kind of, put whatever they want on it just to kind of make it stand out, like, hey, this is our breaking point between those are your comments for this, that. It'll show at the bottom, quick click and drag up. Now all of a sudden you can use these. It's an idea, again, we've seen it before, something to consider if you think it might not be too crazy or too far out there. Again, they won't see.
It's a great way to go. Really, truthfully,
What are you saying? You just have that as a page break, and then the titles aren't showing up?
Well,
The titles
no,
are showing up.
if we have it that way, that way I don't have to say breaker issue, breaker issue, breaker issue. It just says the issue below the breaker's title.
Yeah.
Issue can be short and sweet, and you'll remember what it is. You just have to, if we change it, we change it, and you just have to remember what it is.
So we're not
Figure it out.
selecting any pre-made comments then? Is that what you're saying?
No, we can. Guys, we can look at at our template a little bit more once we let David go. I just want to make sure that he can do what he needs to do on his end. We can go over our own template and kind of tweak a little bit more. It's just the beginning. we have more chaos coming.
It's going to take a little while to get it right, for sure.
Of course. But that's why we're here. This is a good start, Do you guys feel like you have a little bit better handle on the app itself and a little bit of the software? I mean, hopefully it's easy enough. It is curious that we do not have really access to the software via the laptop only while in the field, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. Okay. Anything else for David, you guys? Sean, give me something. Jamie,
You
eat. You guys are killing me.
guys are all eating dinner right now, I think.
Doing their reports.
All right, David. Say,
No,
say,
this was very informative. I appreciate it. This answered a lot of my questions as I've been going through and kind of beta testing my own home. So I thank you for this training, and I thank David for his time and going through all this with us.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Yeah, hope, again, I'm sure we'll be doing this, at least a couple more times. So, Jason, I know you have my email. Let's, touch base again, whether it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, your timeline is, to kind of go into more, again, if it's on the template editing, if it's, I know we talked about, talking with any of the office staff to kind of go over some of those things that they would want to know too. So just, yeah, keep me posted. We'll get these demos set up more. And again, we'll record them all if we need to. And so you can share them with anyone who can't make it. That's totally cool.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we have another one that we need to set up with operations for ISN integration, see how that all's going to work. But I'm appreciative we can get a few more of these demos going and make sure everybody feels a little bit more comfortable, because I'm sure more questions will come up as it goes. So, and if anything, each of you guys, and David, correct me, but each of you guys, as you are on Spectora.com, that little green chat at the bottom right, you can text up and ask anybody, and they should be able to answer you pretty quickly.
Yep. They're there 9 in the morning. Actually, I can turn my face on now that I'm no longer sharing my phone. 9 in the morning Eastern time till 8, Monday through Thursday. Same time Friday, except we leave at 7 on Fridays.
Okay.
So yeah, obviously big good chunk in the middle of the day, and then Saturday mornings as well. So anything when questions come up, that green chat bubble is, you'll get an answer in about 2 minutes at the most. And it'll be a real person. Some people are like, "Are you robots?" No, we're real humans. So
That's funny.
So all right, now, good to talk to you all. Now you can put a face to one of the names here.
Excellent. Thank you so very much, David.
Awesome. Yeah, and again, I won't end the meeting. If you guys want to stay on the call and keep chatting, I'll just leave myself. But yeah, Jason, shoot me an email when you want to reconnect, when go into whatever the next phases look like. We're here to make it happen.
Oh, awesome. Well, if you guys are up for it, I mean, I'm willing to kind of share my screen, and we can kind of go over the template a little bit more of what we have so far for those of you that want to stick around for a minute.
Okay.
Anybody? Or do you got to get going? We can always do it another day. Doesn't matter. I would definitely like to see if we can get some kind of a template Zoom going on our own end to make sure that we are a little bit more comfortable with how it's being put together.
So far, if we want to practice this, we have to create our own inspection, fill in all the information, and then go from that point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, David, is there any way I can get more if I run out of 50 free, can I have more?
Yeah, that's what I was just checking to see where that number was at.
I think I've got 30 left. I think I've still got a little ways, but this is only the beginning of the testing. I've got 20 plus more inspectors that are going to be doing some more demos. Yeah.
Let us know. We can get that set up. I'll up that number now since I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Jason, is the template that you're working on, is that available right now?
Yes.
Is it the one that the edited version, the one that says edited?
It's the one that
Jeff Gunter edited.
Yes,
that's
the one I'm working on.
That's the one you're doing right now. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
How do you get that?
You can choose to select a template when you are creating your inspection.
The drop down, when you select your template, you'll see a drop down arrow and you can see it in there.
And what's it called?
RIA Atlanta Jeff Edit. And then it's got the date on there.
Okay.
We'll adjust it here after a bit once we got everything all put together.
So So just to be clear, you've made some changes since I last did a report, I think, over the weekend, probably. You made
Oh,
a lot of,
I
you've
work
been
on
working
it
on it every day, right?
every day.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm
I
almost
mean, I can
done.
see it's different.
I'm almost done. I've got exterior is what's left, and then then once I'm done with that, I'll go back and go over all of your guys' suggestions. I know Lou's got a series of suggestions. Mike has been making some suggestions, and I'm very grateful for it. So I think that as we make more suggestions, let's make sure that you guys are including everyone on that list, so we're not all making the same ones separately. But yeah, absolutely. Work in progress for sure, but it's in my opinion, it's a clean looking bit of software. Pretty excited about it.
Love to hear it. I have your number to 100. So keep plowing through those test inspections. Obviously, if you hit 100, let us know. That'll be good. Hit 100 soon. That means everyone's working on it, which is great.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna leave the meeting. I'm pretty sure it'll stay open if you guys want to keep going. If it kicks everybody out, then that's on me. Blame me for it. That means I don't know how Zoom works.
That's all right.
But yeah, so I'll just leave it and hopefully you guys can get to it. But yeah, Jason, shoot me an email when you want to kind of go into next steps and we'll make it happen.
Understood. Thank you, man. Very much appreciated.
See you guys later. Have a good one.
Yeah, Jason, you got to use the page breaks. That's the way I set mine up too. That's the best way to do it, to kind of categorize everything, you know?
Yeah.
You know, that's the way to do it. You'll figure it out. But yeah, that's the easy way to go. That's what I did, you know? Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely do that. I just wanted to, find a way to make it as, as quick access as we can,
Like exterior flood not working. It could be flood not working. I mean, I'm just trying to get the less is more.
Well, you got
kind
to
of
remember
thing.
too that the client is going to see this information.
Right. Do they think that's a flood? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know if they pay that close attention. I mean, I used the software for a year. I used the software for a year, and I never had anybody question the comments. The titles to the comments. I never had that. So, or the agents either. So,
right.
They're just they're blown away. They're literally blown away by the way the report looks and how it's interactive and how they can cut and paste and just move on. I mean, it's just, it's super fast.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it, man. Yeah, I think it's
all about us being able to find the comments. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
And so I have a lot of crazy names for my comments that are going to be that my eye catches quickly. And that's what I'm talking about. It seems like that it's going to, I don't know, be a little harder to find our comments. For instance, I have a comment for multiple doors needed, interior doors need adjusting, and one interior door needs adjustment.
Right.
And so I get, that's what I'm talking about with that.
Sure.
So
I get it.
I think that's going to be everybody's battle, to be honest with you, because I think that we all most definitely have our own little, just that quick item that we've already remembered, that's in our head of really kind of what to look for, because even with Home Gauge, you go and you're trying to find that item and you're like, okay, I remember this part, this one, yeah, vent mesh, I know that name. You kind of get used to what you've been doing the whole time. And that's why this is such a system shock really to everybody, because it's changing our babies, right? Our babies are our flashlights and our template. So we're kind of stirring the pot here a heck of a lot for every single inspector. And it's not going to be super exciting that way, and that's where I beg and plead that you guys just adapt as much as you can and try and learn it, and hopefully we're all kind of learning it together.
I'll just share this and then I got to jump off. once you get good at the template, just like, coming on board and learning the RIA template was for everybody that started with RIA when there was somebody else, it was a different template. It's the same scenario. But once you get the template down and you get the software down and the app and the photos and all that, it makes it possible for a guy to do 3 a day. I'm just going to say that and shut up. So, 3 a day is very reachable with the software. Obviously logistics will come into play with that. But I mean, within reason, 3 a day is not a problem. Because you're leaving the property with a report. I'll just say, make it simple math, 95% complete. You're coming home at night, you're editing a little bit, moving a picture around a little bit, re-editing a picture here and there, spending 15 minutes on a report and launching it.
Mm-hmm.
So you've probably, if it takes you an hour and a half to 2 hours to do the inspection, you maybe have 2.5 hours into the total time, where with HomeGage, that's not the case. We all know that. So.
Hey, it also sounds like this will be pretty cool, I think. I hope. I tried to get an answer from the gentleman from Denver, but you can have your laptop open, your phone connected to your phone's Wi-Fi, so you can be proofreading in a full PDF version fairly quickly while you go off around the house and do things on your mobile app. Is that true, Jason?
Okay, so if anything, you're talking about hotspot, right? You can use I don't know if everybody has hotspot capabilities, but yes, you can do that. You would need to save on your mobile app or your mobile device, whether it's tablet or a phone, and then you would need to essentially sync up when you're on your laptop, and then you should be able to view everything that you have documented on your phone. Is that what you're asking?
Pretty much. It seems like it would be quicker because we're always, for me, I mean, I like to proofread my report. Well, it'd be nice to be proofreading it in a wide view on the kitchen counter to show the client also, while I go off and do the report on my phone in different areas of the house, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the idea I was thinking.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think that it would be beneficial maybe even to have a tablet. I've got a 8-inch tablet that's easy enough to show my clients. I've gotten to the point to where I walk my clients around per elevation. So I'll do an elevation. I'll be done with it. So, because, all right, folks, let me show you what I've seen so far. And then I physically show them versus having to show them with photos. And then if I do that per elevation, then my wrap up at the very end is just itty bitty. There's not much to it because they've been able to kind of chew on things as they go, right? And that, not to mention that if I'm doing a walk around at the very end, I'm not going to remember everything. But I mean, that's to each individual inspector as they're doing it. But being able to actually show what they have of the report so far, to be able to do that on your laptop for the client to actually see. Most definitely, they can see the report already ready for them as they're looking at it. So, because I mean, you can go back to, like he was saying, you can go back to those summary type items if we had discrepancies in here, anything like that. I believe we're going to have it to where there's just observations. So just how we have with HomeGage, we have inspected, not inspected, not present, and recommend repair or replace. The observation essentially is replacing the repair replace. So we will have that as the only real discrepancies option. So it'll show recommendations and then it'll show the observations. And then, well, it'll have informational limitations and then observations. Those are our 3 options.
All right, man. I gotta jump.
Cool.
It's cool. Looking forward to it.
Me too. I think it'll be a heck of a lot of fun. There's definitely a lot more to work on, a lot more kinks, but please bear with. And I very much appreciate all of you guys coming on board for doing this beta. So
See ya.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, you guys, be good. Have fun. Give me a shout. Andrew, I'll get you that pool today.
Thanks, man.
You got
Appreciate
buddy.
it.
Yeah, man.